All right, good evening, boys. Today is July 13th, Sunday evening of 2014. This is some information about our run fits we're going to look at tomorrow. Sorry if this audio is a little grainy. I'm a little trouble with my mic, but let's see how this goes. So let's talk about run fits. Run fits is going to be the focus of our defensive period tomorrow. And run fits mean to you where you're going to go on the different runs and things you're going to see. So we know this is our base defense, correct? And so if you see a run look in this defense, you've got to know, sorry about that, you've got to know where you're headed towards. So everybody has a different responsibility. What you can't do is just stand up and look at the ball. You must have a certain key that you check and then reaction you have when you see a particular type of run. So let's take a look. So run fit refers to what the defense building a wall of defenders by covering every gap and every play. We can't have two defenders in one gap and leave another gap unprotected. This is where the problem or the breakdown will occur. So, excuse me, as a defender, you got to know, is it run or pass? And that's our first question. Either it's run or it's pass. It's got to be one of those two. And then we have a responsibility based on what we see. We need to know what gap you're responsible for. What shoulder of the man are you attacking? What's your responsibility in run to and run away? So when we say flow means the ball coming to you or going away. And also on drop back and roll out pass, what are you going to do as a defender? So let's take a look. There's a couple different lanes we can talk about. There's what's called the 0 lane, which is drop back pass, the 1 lane, which is outside run, the 2 lane, which is inside run, the 3 lane, which is a boot or outside play kind of counter and reverse action. Really, that's the things we have to be conscious of. And so we can talk about 0, 1, 2, and 3 lanes, or drop back pass, outside run, inside run, and then all that BCR that we've mentioned in practice before, bootleg, counter, reverse, play action, all those things. So let's look at drop back pass first. You know, the TNT, the tackles, and the nose have to read their offensive lineman when we're in our base front. And when you get a high hat technique, you've got to go to a pass technique. You've got to get off the blocker and get to the quarterback. Now our linebackers, 5 of them, first take a read step, and then you go to your assigned pass responsibilities. And then our corners and frees, you are always playing pass first and going to your assigned spots. So when we say a high hat, you'll hear this term mentioned. High hat is when the lineman, the offensive lineman, assume a posture which shows pass protection. And their hats are high, their butts are down, and they're setting up to pass protect. And when we see that as one of these linemen here, you've got to know that it's time to get to a pass rush technique, your club, your swim, your rips, and do something to get past that defending lineman. So if we were in our 5 or base blue, and we saw a drop back pass, then the tackle is always going to rush outside in. And unless we're in a stunt, this offensive tackle, let's just change his color a little bit. This lineman here must always be outside in. His route's going to come from this way, just like this tackle. If you press and then you come underneath, and then the quarterback drops back and he rolls over here, and you lose your contain, then we're in a bad way. So until you hear otherwise, we ask that you always take the outside in lane. So first you press, you read, you get a high hat, you come outside in. The nose, you get a two-way go. You can go left or you can go right, but you've got to get upfield and you got to get towards the quarterback. Now if we were playing blue, you know, we're playing deep thirds then. He has an outside third, he has the middle third, he has the deep third over here. And then our Sam and Will, remember you run to number 2 in blue. And on this side, of course, the Will presently doesn't have number 2. So he runs over here, hook to curl, and then he sinks if the ball's not thrown. So Mike plays the middle third and mirrors the quarterback. Sam runs towards 2. And then, based on what the tight end does, we'll react differently. But in blue, he's the number 2 receiver in this offense. Here's number 1. Here's number 2, and we know if 2 goes vertical like this, and of course we turn and run, we play him man-to-man when 2 goes vertical. But if 2 goes out, as we've seen on many occasions, if 2 does an out route, he comes up field and he does an out, we know we sink, we yell out, 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 and look for number 1 coming in and prepare to jump number 1. So that's our pass responsibility. So if you see pass, drop back pass in this case, then everybody has a certain specific responsibility in which they belong. The outside run can also be something that's a little bit different. If you're one of the tackles or nose, you have first you press and you grab the offensive lineman, and you react based on what they do. And I'll show you in a slide in another minute what I mean. The Mike always takes a reach step, and you must always attack the ball from outside in. I'm sorry, from inside out. always from inside out. Read step, attack, but always from inside out, much like the free safety would do, is that you got to have a banana fill, and I'll show you again on the next slide. Sam and Will, you read step, play downhill. You read the open closed window, which we'll talk a little bit about too, and keep the ball on your inside shoulder on run 2. If you're the Sam or Will and run goes away, you read step, fill the backside A gap as we mentioned, look for cutback and trap, and the flow continues away, then you bow pursue, and again we'll indicate what that is in the next slide. And the outside linebacker is the joker and the bear. If it's run 2, we always pace it, right, fellas? We never let the ball carrier get outside of you. You know, it's a squeeze towards the ball, but we're shuffling outside. Never let the ball be to the outside. We have help inside as an outside linebacker, but not outside. And then if you're the linebacker, the Sam or Will and flow goes away, then you sink and replace the Sam or Will on your side. And when you sink and replace, you're looking for BCR. Excuse me, BCR is the bootleg counter reverse, in which case the flow will be coming back to you. So let's take these words and let's see if we can put it into the slide. So look at this particular slide. Here's outside run. The ball is leaving the box. Right? The ball is going hard to the outside. So we have different responsibilities based upon the position you'd be playing. First of all, if you were the bear, this outside linebacker, and the ball is coming at you, we want to pace the ball. We want to shuffle, 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 and make sure that ball goes inside of you. What we don't want to do is come upfield and get into a contest with their running back, where we shoot up here and try to make the tackle on the play, and he beats us to the outside. That's a bad scenario. So we don't do anything really as outside linebacker when the ball comes towards you in a fast flow, other than shuffle, 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 keep the ball inside of you. You want to pace it and not cross the line of scrimmage. If you're one of the TNTs, the tackles or the nose, and fast flow goes aside until the ball crosses the line of scrimmage, you're pursuing flat down the line of scrimmage this way. You press and you go flat down the line of scrimmage, because at any point this tailback can make a cut back here, or he can come back over here or over this way. So as the TNTs, you want to make sure you go flat down the line of scrimmage like I tried to indicate here. If you're the outside linebacker away, now this is that sink and replace technique, the flow's gone away. We need you to drop and replace the will over here, and again you're looking for bootleg counter reverse. What we don't want you to do is when flow goes away, suddenly get in the mix over here and start running this way, trying to get the ball, which is going to be long gone by the time you get there, and then suddenly it's reverse coming back, and you are not there for the bootleg counter reverse. So you've got to know your responsibility. And again, if you're the outside linebacker, flow away, check for bootleg counter reverse. The corner and the free in this other corner, play pass first. You always pass first. And once you're certain it's run, then your late help and the free, when you see run and you're sure it's run, then you have to do what we call banana fill. The wrong way for the free safety to get to this outside run is like this. If you try to go over the top of it, you'll never get there. You'll lose your leverage and you hurt the defense. Your banana fill should look like this. Drop, drop, drop. It's run, run, run. You have to come down and land like a banana-like pattern inside out. So take a look at this. This is called banana fill. And this is the proper way to get to the football. Do not backpedal and run, make a play over here. Come downhill. And downhill we mean up the field this way. But as you do it, you need to be certain that you're always on a banana fill. Drop, drop. Come down inside out. Okay, and remember, we're trying to build a wall. We're trying to get everybody in the right spot. And your job is the banana fill. Now, that leaves our three linebackers, the Will, the Mike, and the Sam. So the Sam reads the guard. He sees fast flow outside. And so he's got to get outside of this. He's got to get to the edge or outside shoulder of the running back. Wherever their running back is, he wants to be on the outside pad of the running back. And the Mike wants to be on the inside pad. So we have two linebackers coming downhill, running through an open window if you can, meaning a gap in the offense. But you're coming to the inside shoulder if you're the Mike, you're coming to the outside shoulder if you're the Sam. Remember, the Mike has a similar fill in that he's kind of a banana fill, just like the free safety does in his banana fill. Both the Mike and the free need to fill from inside out. We have the Sam outside the ball, we have the bear outside the ball, we have the corner with late help coming outside the ball. But the Mike and the Sam in this particular play have to be early fill downhill, playing on the inside shoulder if you're the Mike, playing on the outside shoulder if you're the Sam. And that leaves the Will. And the Will, this is fast flow going away. So you fit into the backside A gap. This is the A gap right here. That's backside A gap, that's play side A gap. You fit into the backside A gap, and as you fit in, if the ball does cross the line of scrimmage and it continues, towards the sideline, then we need a bow pursuit. And a bow pursuit is like the bow of an archer's bow, in that it's not. We don't want you to go from here to here to get there to run this route. A bow pursuit means you're going to fit down the backside A gap. Once the ball crosses the line of scrimmage, then it's a bow. We want to come out this way. We want to make the play over here. So in our outside runs, everybody has a particular spot and responsibility to get to. Let's look at inside run. The TNT, it's all based on what the lineman does. It tells you whether it's to or away, you react to what the offensive lineman does. Mike, you always read step. Read step. Pick up your foot, put it down, and attack the ball from inside out. Always inside out, and make sure that the nose is stuck in the center. And if it's run away, it's the same thing. Read step, attack the ball from inside out. So you're the center fielder on level 2. You must always be downhill and inside out as you attack towards the football. The same will, read step, play downhill, and read open close window, meaning if there's a gap to run through, then we will. If it closes, then we shuffle to another gap. We'll try to explain that a little bit more, and that's on run 2. On run away, again, now you go backside A gap. But run 2, you fill downhill. Run away, you fill the backside A gap, looking for cutback and trap. And again, if flow continues away, then you bow pursue. And the bear and joker, run 2 on an inside run. Really, we're not going to pace the football. This is going to be sink and replace, both on run 2 and run away. So this should be the same as this over here. I'll show you in a minute. So let's look at it. First of all, we know there's different gaps in the offense, and you can see this is A gap, then the B gap, then the B gap. I don't know why that's a C. This should be D. This should be C gap. That's C gap. That's C gap. And then here's a D gap. So the gaps go from inside out, correct? And then if we look at a play like this, where we have a inside run, in this case it's something called a dart, we have certain responsibilities. So if you were the tackle, and over here you're going to press and squeeze. You're the C gap player. You are going to squeeze, you're going to press him down. And over here you do the same thing. If he high-hats you, tries to get you to work upfield, you squeeze into here. You try to constrict the gap. If you're the nose, you press. You're a 2-gapper. And if you see the ball come this way, then you peel off and come this side. If you made a mistake, then you try to fight back. But again, you read the hat at the center. Press, 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 and then try to get to the football. Here's my point of emphasis, guys. If you're the joker and the bear, and the ball goes inside, anywhere from, let's say, tackle, anywhere in this area right here, if you're the joker or bear, then you sink and replace. Because the Will and the Sam are going to be flying out of there, flying downhill. Your job, because the ball's coming somewhere in the middle, is to sink and replace. And if it continues inside and the ball is handed off, then you can attack from outside in. If he bounced in here and he tried to get back to the outside, if he hit it in the middle and saw no daylight, decided to bounce back outside, well, remember, you're the guy who would then become responsible for this. So if he hit it in here and then bounced and began to come out this way, you would come back out here and shuffle, making sure that he goes inside of you and not outside. The mic, again, you're coming downhill, right? So you read the center's block on the nose, and nose is hand fighting in here. You could step, you might take a false step this way on the fullback dive and try to find the football. You should be inside this, always inside the ball. The Sam will come down and fight. He sees a down block, he sees the back coming towards him, he should be downhill this way. The free in the corner, you guys are always playing pass first, so it's a drop step. Make sure it's on pass, and you fill from outside in, downhill. So in our base defense, our 5 or base defense, that's what it would look like for inside run. So if you look at these following plays, you have to ask yourself, would you know where to go based upon the way it's strong? So here's a inside run. Again, this is what they call the ISO play. And again, lineman would squeeze, he'd squeeze, the ball's coming inside, he would sink and replace. He would sink and replace. The Will now is going to check backside A gap, so this is it right here. But he checks backside A gap. The Mike is going to come downhill with taking on the ball with his right shoulder. He's going to come downhill, take on the blocker. Pin the ball with his left shoulder. Corners are free, playing pass until they know it's run. Then they come up and they're late help. It's an inside run in this case. It looks something like that. Here's an inside run. Now the ball coming inside, coming option look, which is a little bit different thing. So let's leave that on the table. This is kind of an option look, which has certain responsibilities we'll talk about later. And again, here's the inside run. Remember, here's a double team. And you should know if you're this tackle and you're double teamed by the tight end and the tackle, you swing your hips and you try to shoot through this gap. And if you can't shoot through it, you turn your back to the tight end in this case and try to split him. If you can't split him, you grab the shirt of the tackle, you fall down and make a big pile, a big cluster in here with these two on you, and then the linebackers have to fill in and do their job. Boots and naked are a little bit different. Remember, boots and naked, those when the ball is going to start inside and then eventually come back to the outside. And we'll talk about that in a little detail later.